Greetings Cape Crusaders, Wayne here and welcome to another video. It's been a while since I've done a review, critique, first impressions or even a critical analysis of a video game. The last one I did was for Assassin's Creed Unity and I fancy doing another one. So here's off the cuff, straight out thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight. Now, quick notifications, spoiler warning throughout. I'm going to be going into some major plot details and some storylines from the animated films and the comic books and all the rest of it. So if you haven't played the game or if you don't want it spoiled, apologies, you can't watch this. If you have played the game or you just don't give a shit, strap yourselves in because we're going to have a bit of a rant about certain elements of the game. Now, first off, gotta give credit to Rocksteady. What they've done with Arkham Knight is nothing short of a miracle. It's their magnum opus, it's their big finale. Up until this point, this is Rocksteady's last Batman Arkham game. And I think they might do another one, but it won't be for a bloody long time. But yeah, what they've done is nothing short of a miracle. The game's tagline, "Be the Batman," rings true in every shape and form. It takes the mechanics from all the previous games, including Origins with detective mode and that sort of thing, and retunes them and refines them into a solid experience. Combat is a lot more streamlined and responsive, it's a lot more complicated, but it's just as fun as ever. Predator mode has been refined to be a bit more methodical. You need to be a bit more tactical when you're doing the Predator stuff because of the introduction of sentry turrets and AI weaponry and certain AI systems and new archetypes, and even the Batmobile is so much fun when you're traversing the map, when you're using it in combat, when you're solving Riddler puzzles and challenges. My biggest gripe is the Batmobile in certain moments when it is forced upon you, it is rammed down your throat for story missions, and it's a real letdown, especially in moments when you think, right, this is going to be an awesome boss fight. Later in the game, you fight against Deathstroke and you think, right, we've seen the early days fight in Origins, and now we're going to see the finale. The seasoned Batman versus the seasoned Deathstroke. Who's going to win once and for all, mono-a-mono fist fight? Nope, it ends up being a bloody tank fight, and you're just whizzing around in the tank mode Batmobile, and it's one hell of a letdown. And the same thing appears when you're fighting Arkham Knight a few times throughout the story. And yeah, apart from those forced Batmobile moments in the campaign when you're forced and you're locked into using the tank, the game is bloody brilliant. It is so much fun and it's so satisfying to play. The story, however, is a different matter. Now, the story of Batman Arkham Knight is cut into two halves. You've got the brilliant bit and then you've got the shitty bit, the cop-outy bit. Now, the brilliant bit is the return of Mark Hamill as the Joker. The way they've incorporated Joker's return in this game is fantastic, and it really works. The idea that Batman is still suffering the side effects of being infected with Joker's blood from Arkham City, and slowly but surely the Joker is inside Batman's mind and slowly taking over, and this takeover is accelerated through Batman's interaction with Scarecrow's fear toxin. And when it gets to the finale and Joker finally takes over, and it's just he just gets gunned down Two-Face and the Penguin and the Riddler, and then the Batman fights back and locks him away deep within his subconscious. It's probably one of the best moments in the Batman Arkham series overall. I'd call it my #1 moment, and it's great. It's just fantastic, and it's great to see Mark Hamill return. On the flip side, my biggest problem with Arkham Knight is Arkham Knight himself. Now, throughout the entire marketing run of the game, Rocksteady was saying Arkham Knight is a completely original character, he's new, he's completely original, and we've worked with DC to bring this character into the game and into the comic books, and yeah. Sorry, but no, you've been lying to us from day one, and you've lied in a shitty way, and the way you executed it was even more shitty, to the point where I personally feel like it was a bit of a cop-out. And by the time the mask came off, I wasn't impressed. I knew it was Jason Todd. Anyone who has been watching the marketing campaign knew full well Arkham Knight would have been Jason Todd the second they announced the Red Hood pre-order DLC. And this is the first time that I'm aware of where a DLC pre-order incentive has basically ruined half of the game's storyline. And even then, Anyone who has watched the animated film Batman Under the Red Hood, which in my opinion is the definitive version of the Red Hood Death in the Family storyline, knows the line, "You haven't lost your touch." And the second that's said in the game, early on in the game, when it's in a fight between the Batmobile and the Arkham Knight in a helicopter, and he says that line, I went, oh god, I facepalmed. I went, they can't do this, can they? And they bloody did. For most of the game, they string you along and they shoehorn all these flashbacks in and they pretty much ram it into your face, going, yeah, the Arkham Knight is Jason Todd. So when it gets to the reveal, like I said, I'm like, meh, not impressed. And that's a big failure on the writer's part. I mean, Paul Dini, who is the master of writing Batman stories, he wrote the animated series, he's wrote countless comics, he wrote Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. He wasn't involved in the making of Arkham Knight. He didn't write Arkham Knight's story. So you can see the failings. And if Paul Dini was writing this game, I have a feeling he would have done either one of two things. Either one, he would have revealed that Jason Todd is Arkham Knight earlier in the game, and then it becomes not a question of who is he, but how and why he became the Arkham Knight. And personally, I think that's more of an interesting storyline of how and why he got to this point rather than who he is, especially when it's thrown in your face left, right and centre within nightmare sequences induced by the Joker. The other idea, which I think is the overall better option, is the Arkham Knight wasn't Jason Todd after all. And it's everything up until the reveal is just a big red herring. It's just Joker effing with your mind, because the Joker's in your head, remember that. The Joker is just effing with your mind, showing you these deaths of Jason Todd, trying to make you feel bad, trying to wear you down from the inside to slowly take over. And then, when the mask finally comes off on the Arkham Knight, it's not Jason Todd, but personally, Damian Wayne. Now, those of you that don't know, Damian Wayne is Bruce Wayne's son, and his mother is Talia al Ghul, who is Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Talia and Ra's died in Arkham City, and throughout Arkham Knight, the Joker is taunting Batman with Talia's death, and yet it makes sense. It makes sense that the Arkham Knight would end up being Damian Wayne, and he's basically out for revenge on Batman for killing his mother, or inadvertently killing his mother, and in turn his grandfather. And it would explain probably one of the biggest plot holes in the game, which is where did the Arkham Knight get all the finance, all the gear, all the men to build this Arkham Knight army? It just isn't explained. And now, if Damian Wayne was the Arkham Knight, you could have at least given a decent explanation that, well, considering Damian Wayne is the last heir of the Al Ghul family line, he is literally the new heir to the demon. He's basically repurposed the League of Assassins with all this artillery, with all these weapons, and now the League of Assassins is the Arkham Knight army, and like that makes sense from a narrative perspective. And overall, the storyline of it being Damian Wayne, I think, will be much cooler. You know, battle of father and son. And I think that would have been better off, personally. And I understand that there are people out there who play the Arkham Knight games who aren't really caught up on Jason Todd and certain comic book storylines that aren't in the games. But even then, Damian would have been a better option, in my honest opinion. And it could have really given the ending a more interesting approach. You know, the Nightfall protocol. I think it could have added an extra layer to that as well. But yeah, those are just my impressions and my personal opinions. The game and the story is good. I think it could have been handled a lot more better than it actually was as far as the Arkham Knight was concerned. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. What do you think of Arkham Knight as a game overall? Did you enjoy it? What do you think of the Arkham Knight character? Did you think it was Jason Todd? Was you surprised by it? Do you think it should have been Damian Wayne? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, until the next one, take care and be safe. Love you all. Wayne out. Peace.